Welcome back to the channel. As you guys know by the title, we are talking about Autopilot, and well, Autopilot is crashing Teslas apparently. So we're gonna get into it a little bit today. We're gonna talk about it, and this is something that is quite a bit in the news, and I get the feeling a lot of people are getting a lot of misinformation on this. So before I get into the whole video, I'm going to be giving you guys a little bit of a disclaimer. Over the past year, I have driven approximately 70% of all my driving has been done on autopilot, including now. I have done this in a Model 3, Model S, which I own, and today I happen to be driving the Model X. When it comes to me driving on autopilot, I have done this for many different trips. I have done it on day basis, night, day, bad weather, good weather. It really doesn't matter. And I've done it on very long trips, and I've done it on very short trips. I've done it on highways and cities. In fact, on my channel, you will notice that there are a number of videos regarding autopilot. So I am not just giving you guys something that I heard about or something I read. I am telling you this from personal experience of 40,000 kilometers driven strictly on my Model S, not including Model 3 or Model X driving. And all of it combined, like I said, approximately 70% is done on autopilot. I absolutely love it. I am one of those people that really enjoy driving with autopilot. So with all that said, I really want you guys to understand, experience is everything. And this is where really things take effect. So let's get into it. Let me tell you guys a number of ideas how to help yourselves with autopilot, what to believe and what not to believe, and what you should be looking at when it comes to autopilot, aside from the headline news of some really poor I would say reporting. When it comes to the media, all we're ever getting is FUD in many ways. So I'm gonna get into the video and give you guys a little bit of information in 3, 2, 1 just for fun. All right, first things first, autopilot does not crash. Okay, it's not autopilot that crashes, it is you, the driver. And if you're dumb enough to crash your car while you're on autopilot, that is all on you. It has nothing to do with Tesla, it has nothing to do with the software, it has nothing to do with anything. That's on you. You're the driver. When you get autopilot, when you activate autopilot, you're not activating some imaginary chauffeur. That's not what you're doing. You don't have a, there is no imaginary chauffeur. You are in the driver's seat. You have the wheel right in front of you, and you have the control of your vehicle. Just because it says the words autopilot, well, it's autopilot. It's a name. It's still a piece of software, and people do not pay attention to the very basics when you activate autopilot. When you're given the option, and ultimately it's all on you. It's all on every single person that has crashed with autopilot. There is no such thing as, well, Tesla could have done something differently, or the software could have done something differently. No, you could have done something differently. Every single one of those people who crashed could have done something differently. Not the software, not Tesla, not the car, not the imaginary chauffeur. Ultimately it comes down to you as the driver. And for anybody who is out there thinking that, Tesla should be taking responsibility for this, or, the car is underperforming, or false claims have been made. You know what? You obviously have more money than brains. So take that money, donate it to a really good charity, go and live on a street. I don't know, go out and live in the woods, whatever. You obviously don't have the brain power to think before you do. So what does this mean? This means basically that if you have an iPhone, or you have an Android, or you have whatever the phone you want to have, and it tells you, as an example, in your GPS, to go straight when clearly there's a brick wall in front of you, are you gonna go straight? And is that Apple's fault, or is that Android's fault, or is that... No. There is still the responsibility on you to make everyday choices. It's no different than the boneheads walking up, crossing the street, jaywalking down their faces in their phones. That's the kind of people that are driving these cars and are not thinking about what they're supposed to be doing. Again, from somebody like myself who is driving these cars every single day, somebody like myself who is using Autopilot, testing Autopilot, and has the ability has had the ability and still currently have the pleasure of doing what I'm doing with it when it comes to these cars, I can tell you right now, the only time that the Autopilot has ever done anything wrong is when I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. What makes this even worse is people in general don't understand basic things. If you are being given information, clear information, and you don't care, it goes in one ear, goes out the other, well, again, this is on you as a person, and it's something that really, really bothers me, because ultimately everything to do with Autopilot is on the people that are using it. It has nothing to do with Tesla. It has nothing to do with the software. It has everything to do with you. You have to be the one paying attention. The Autopilot is made clear that first of all, it's still a beta, no matter what anybody tells you. Second of all, it's still software. It's still software that's learning. Understand that. You have to understand that. I'm going through the mountain passes right now, and you know what? No, I'm not going to show you. You guys want to see that? It's one of the videos. I've done this trip a number of times. I'm going through the mountain passes through winding roads, doing about 90 kilometers an hour, and she's doing a perfect job. But if this car happens to, crash for some reason because I'm talking to you and I'm not holding the wheel, that's on me. That's not the car's fault. When people talk about Autopilot, they need to understand what it is that they're talking about. And again, please get out of that imaginary chauffeur thing that apparently drives the car. It's a wonderful system to use, but you don't use it in any different way than you would use any form of technology. You are not going to trust technology 100%. It's never going to happen, at least not in my lifetime. Because if we get to the point where we become so complacent that we're using technology and giving it our full trust, then we're going to have a lot more problems. Ultimately, when it comes to Autopilot, I have used this for the past year. I've never had a problem. My cars, no matter what I've been driving, they've never crashed. And I put my cars through its paces. It's one of the fun things about owning a YouTube channel is the fact that I get to go out and test these cars. But no matter what I test, no matter what I do it in a safe environment. Number one. Number two, I always pay attention to the information that is being given to me. Number three, I always remember I am the driver and I am 100% responsible for my actions. I will not, no matter how much testing I do, no matter what I do, I will never blame Tesla for my mistakes. Take responsibility for your own actions. And as for the media out there, you know what, guys? Stop talking about Tesla. Go out, buy one, drive one, own one, then you have every single right to talk about it. Half of you guys writing comments about this stuff have no clue what a Tesla is. 90% of you don't even own one or have ever been in one. And if you're lucky, maybe you have actually gotten to the showroom or at least had the brains to ask somebody, may I get a ride in a car? So you can actually see what you're getting, what you're talking about. People have a tendency to just talk without any evidence to back up what they're saying. That is not reporting. That is not giving facts. That is simply just an opinion. I cannot stand media anymore. And for all the media companies who are out there, shame on you. You guys are absolutely disgusting at this point. There's nothing, absolutely nothing that I have seen in the media over the past 6 months that I have personally seen with my own 2 eyes and read. I have not seen a single speck of actual evidence of what they're saying. It's all just opinions. It's information that they have gathered through unreliable sources. And even if it's reliable, if you are a true reporter, you go out there and you report, but you also go out there and investigate. And it's called investigative reporting, right? If you're thinking about buying a Tesla, think of it this way. If you have the brains to read instructions and remember that you are the driver of the vehicle that you paid for, go ahead, buy one. You'll be on top of the world. It is one of the most amazing things you can buy. Really is the future. However, if you have a bunch of money, but you keep noticing that you're spending a lot of money and you don't know where that money's going, or maybe your insurance rate is a little too high, don't buy a Tesla, please. We don't need another boneheaded driver out there driving a Tesla who's got more money than brains. You're just giving the company a bad name. This is not my typical video, but I have to admit, I've been holding back for so long trying to make this video because I keep telling myself things will get better. People will smarten up. We seem to live in a society of, well, idiocracy. That's what I want to call it, because there is nothing else to call it. The level of stupidity and social media garbage is incredible. You have to understand what you buy. I don't care if it's a car, a phone, a TV, a couch. I don't care what it is. You have to understand what you're buying. There's a reason these things come with warnings, instructions. Yes, nobody ever reads instructions. You know what? If something goes wrong because you didn't read the instructions, well, that's not the problem of the product. That's your problem. And even if you actually read it, or any one of these people that have had autopilot fail on them and it caused an accident, if those people actually read the instructions, that wouldn't have happened. I give you my 100% guarantee that wouldn't happen, because the cars do not crash. I put these cars, especially my personal car, I put it through some crazy situations. And granted, I'm not recording everything, but I put it through its paces. I want to make sure that the car is able to handle this, that, and the other thing. And some of those things are questionable, and I'm not saying they're not. I am doing it at my risk, and I'm not going to be running to the news saying, look, the car crashed. No, if I make a mistake, I own up to it. I'm a man about it. That's just the way it is. But I haven't had it. No matter what what situation I put my car into, the car dealt with it. And when Autopilot couldn't deal with it, I was here to deal with it. Most people that I talk to, and this is the part that I think is going to blow a lot of your minds, most people that I talk to regarding Autopilot are not even aware that you can adjust the distance between cars. That's an option. It's in, everything is there. All you have to do is read the instructions. So the same person that's using, let's say, one car length in the city is using one car length on the highway. Now, granted, the car will compensate for that. And no, before you crash into a wall, putting it on autopilot, to try and get out of it that's not an excuse. Anyway, it's a long video, but this whole time that I've been talking to you guys, I have been on autopilot. And these are some twisty roads. I'm sure, I don't even bother showing you guys because, the comments you guys have some of them are just ridiculous. But ever since the video started, I've been on autopilot. I'm going through twisty mountain roads, and it's ridiculous because the car is doing everything just right. So I haven't taken over. And if you want to know how you know that, here, you never heard that. Now I took over, now I'm driving. It's all fine and dandy. Please remember, autopilot is not your driver. Autopilot is your assistant, and like any good assistant, is doing the best it can. But ultimately, you're the boss, you're the driver, you're the one that's responsible. And if you don't like it, you know what, don't buy a Tesla, or don't use Autopilot. That's just the way I look at it. But don't complain if something goes wrong because you're too boneheaded to figure it out. That's it. And if you don't like it, don't subscribe to my channel. If you decide that you want to make comments, I don't care about comments. Be respectful on the comments. Otherwise, you're not getting a reply, and I probably will delete you too. So be respectful. I don't mind. Everybody has the right to say whatever they want to say, and I genuinely look at all the comments. For me, it's all about, let's start a conversation. But when we start a conversation, we talk like normal human beings. We respect one another in the conversations, and that's just the way it works. As for the rest of you guys who are looking to get facts and the true aspect from somebody who is driving these cars every day, who somebody is really applying a lot of tests to these cars, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, absolutely subscribe to the channel. Always comment. I know many of you guys are going to give this video a thumbs down. Good on you. I'm glad you're doing it. Let's see if we can hit about, I don't know, 50,000 thumbs downs. That's my new goal right now, because I know this is going to be a pretty controversial video. So I'm going to go for 50,000 thumbs downs. I'm hoping for 1 thumb up. I'll probably do it for myself. So there you go. I already reached that. With that said, drive safe. And again, remember, Autopilot is not your chauffeur. You're the driver. See ya.